Hi, I'm Traven, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at another Kickstarter Roundup to see what's been going on in Kickstarter. I think the last one I did was 3 weeks ago, so there's some new projects up that I want to talk about, and just some things that I mentioned were upcoming that are now out. So we're going to take a look at a few, and yeah, as always, in the comments, let me know if there's any Kickstarters that you're aware of or any crowdfunding you're aware of that I should cover the next time. I think I'm going to try to alternate this and do like a week of Kickstarter and then a week of streaming. So we'll see how it goes, though. So, all right. So first up, we have Coffin Comics Lady Gunfighter Desolation. So this is a Kickstarter for, I think this one is just for an issue. So, this is for a graphic novel. Okay, so some of these are some of the comic ones are for like a single issue, and some are for a whole graphic novel. This one's a whole graphic novel, so I'd imagine like maybe 6 issues or so. And it's through Coffin Comics, which do Lady Death, so I know that has a following. This one is one that I'm a little conflicted on because I think the story sounds interesting and it's really reminiscent of some comics that I really enjoyed, which I'll mention as we're going through here. But I don't find the art compelling. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me. But I do know that Coffin Comics, Lady Death, those have a cult following. And so you might want to be aware of this project going on. So they've got the table of contents up here. So here's the story. So it's set in post-Civil War America. She was a gunfighter. The main character, Eliza Ryan, was a gunfighter. She gave that up. Now she is taking it up once again, and she's got a cursed gun that is probably going to get her in more trouble. And she's also trying to find revenge for the person who killed her family. So kind of a Punisher style story set in a Weird West setting, which I really like. Weird West. Sixth Gun was an amazing comic, and it gives me those kind of vibes, at least with its story. So scrolling down here, they have the creative team. So if you want to know who are the minds behind this particular comic, you can look through there. And then they've got sample pages, which I think is very professional. Looks very nice to have that up on the page. However, like I said, I feel like some of this kind of detracts from my interest. We have some very stiff postures here. And then with the gun here in particular, I was noticing, I was going through this again, we've got like a really large gun here, and then suddenly it looks like a regular shotgun, then it's back here again. It's much thinner. So the art is inconsistent, I would say. But you can see kind of the way that the gun works, where it's whipping around and the bullets are dancing all around to hit the people. So very violent, and again, if you're a fan of this comic company, you know that's to be expected. But yeah, I just thought it would be one to point out. So for let's see, $6 will get you the digital copy, $29 will get you the physical, and then from there it's different special editions with different cover artists. So it all depends on your particular style and what you want. Down here, we've got some Ultimate Editions, the full color print for some of these artworks. And then, of course, as you get further and further down, there's so many different options that it starts getting into, like, you know, the hundreds of dollars for multiple comics, as always. But again, if you're interested in the content, you should look up the rest of the tiers here. I don't want to go through all of them, just enough to talk about what can you get, how much do you need to pledge in order to get this book in your hands. So here I would say if I were to back it, which I don't think I'm going to, but if I were to back it, I'd probably be at the $29 tier to get the physical copy of the book. So that's the first that we want to look at. So second is Ashes of Eden. So this is a web comic that's been running for 3+ years. So it's already got a bit of story backed up, and I'm sure you can go and seek out and read through the comic if you want to see if it's something that you're interested in. But I know a lot of these webtoons comics are behind paywalls, so that is your prerogative. This is going to be their first comic, and I believe this looks just like a single like floppy comic for $20. So the story seems pretty interesting. Kind of gives me a sense of maybe Gurren Lagann a little bit, or something along those lines. It seems like humanity is living below the desert, and now they've emerged again. There are these crystals that might be the halon crystals that might be the key to igniting some power to bring us out of the depths. And then just following an archaeologist, he awakens a girl named Eden from a forgotten civilization. They have to band together to figure out what was the past of this world that they live in. So again, a cool concept that ties in some different ideas that I'm totally down for. I wanted to highlight this one because they're doing something really crazy in the upper levels here. So at some point, you can start getting NFC halon crystals in these custom linen satchels, and they actually scan in to give you access to, I think, more of the comic. So yeah, here we go. Hold the power of the world that came before in your hands. Unlock secret data inside. A premium way to enjoy not just the digital deluxe edition of #1, but gain a season pass access to future digital releases of issue number 2 through 5 before they ever go to print or sell through distribution. So it's a crystal that allows you like digital access to the further line of the comics, and that starts at the $90 tier. So you're paying quite a lot for it, but I think as a way of doing immersion within your story and offering cool content to your backers, that's pretty neat. If they can follow through with that, that'll be really cool. So yeah, again, I look more at these at what do I need to do to actually get the item in my hand. So if you want the digital edition, $10. If you want just the volume 1, it'll be $15. And then from there, you get like the signed edition. If you want physical and digital, you want the variants, etc., etc. Right? So it gets more and more crazy as the tiers go up. I think the upper tier is like for retailers. There's one in here that's just like a whole bunch of crystals. Because I want to say one of these images is just like, here's a whole ton of crystals for you. Yeah. But again, one that seems like it has a fun story, very anime inspired. If you're a fan of manga, if you're a fan of like anime style art, this definitely seems like it's aiming for that. And again, if you want to try before you buy, if you want to preview it, it is an online comic, so you should be able to seek that out and find out more about it before you back it. It's got 9 days to go. So, all right, the next one was just one that kind of stood out to me as I was going through the different projects, and I wanted to know more about it. It's called I Hate You, Please Die, Volume 1. So the interesting thing about this Kickstarter is that they've done all of their stories, they've printed all their comics through Kickstarter, and now they've gotten enough material that they're ready to put out their first trade paperback, I think. So $5 for the digital, $15 for the digital catch-up, and then $25 for the $25 for volume 1, like the trade paperback. So physical catch-up is $30, and then down here all covers for 75. So yeah, there's different options again. But I think here is where you can get like all of volume 1, $25. That's not unreasonable for a trade paperback. This seems like kind of like a wish fulfillment type of story. So there is a kid who's bullied in grade school, middle school. I think it starts in middle school, and he gets the ability. He makes a deal with a demon or something like that to just kill people who are bullying him or being rude to him. And then it says, of course, who knew there'd be consequences, right? Who thought there'd be consequences? Kill anyone he wants with his mind. Who thought there'd be consequences? So kind of Death Note-esque, but set in a middle school, high school setting. Art looks decent. Again, we have the breakdown of the different tiers here and then the creative team behind it. We do have a brief excerpt of the comic, which gives you a sense of the art. Art's pretty decent. Doesn't give you much sense of the story, like the excerpt from the Coffin comics did, but enough to get a sense of, do you like the art style? So just another one that caught my eye as I was going through these different comic Kickstarters. That one's got another 14 days to go. It's already reached its goal. All right, this is one that I brought up last time, which is the Illuminated Inferno. It's just over its goal. Still got 16 days to go. I just mentioned that this one was coming up, and it looked like a beautiful box set. Now, the prices here start pretty high. If you want to get a physical edition of the book, it's going to be $100. So, but that is any of the Illuminated editions that this company has produced so far. So you can pick any of their books and get it for $100. And keep in mind, like the base of this book is this like beautiful copy housed inside of this slipcase. So there's an example of some of the art that's going to be in it. Very stark art style. Might not work for you. Might be great. So yeah, the standard edition, oversized 9x12 hardcover, cloth bound. And then it has the embossed and debossed die cut slipcase, silkscreen and foil stamped with the artwork. And then you can get, of course, just like any other of these Kickstarters, you can get more and more insane with it. So there's a numbered edition. If you want a limited edition, that's going to set you back. The signed and numbered editions are $250. And then there is a lettered edition, which has a different cover on it. It's laser cutted metal plates. And then they're only making 26 of these. So those are like $1,500, I want to say, is the price for that. So yeah, if you want the lettered edition, you're looking at $1,500, which is a lot, but 5 people have already gone for it. So, depends on what you are looking for and how much you are willing to spend on books. Now down here, they do have a breakdown of all the other books that they've produced so far, because again, your $100 could go toward purchasing any of these other Illuminated editions. So they've got Pinocchio. You can see an example of the art style there because they commissioned different artists for each of these books. I like the Pinocchio one quite a bit. The Quaidon collection. So this is a Japanese horror stories, I believe. A Voyage of Arcturus. You have The Great Gatsby. Very kind of Art Nouveau inspired art there. The Blazing World. Crime and Punishment. Peter Pan. Another one that I rather like. I like the look of the Peter Pan copy. The Fairy Tales of Oscar Wilde. The Willows. The Island of Dr. Moreau. Like the art style on that one too. And then it just breaks down shipping rates if you want 1 book or 2 books. How much is it going to cost to ship? So they're very upfront with the cost. A bit about the artist that they have working on this title. And then a bit about the author and a bit about the publisher if you want to go check them out. I pointed out their website on the last video, but again, all their work is on, most of their book work is on this site anyway, so you can get a good sense of what they do. Very nice copies of classic literature. So again, that's just over its funding goal. It's going to be made, and it's from a company that is well established, so you're pretty well guaranteed you're going to get the product that you purchase. All right. We did a covers book on the last one for ElfQuest. Now The Wicked and the Divine is having the Wicked and Divine covers version. Again, I know this is a massively popular comic book series. I've not personally read it, but I do understand the passion for the art of books if you are a big fan of that universe or a big fan of the artists. So this collects all the Wicked and Divine covers. I believe the run for this comic is over, and so you would have a nice copy of all these covers, and they do come with, I do want to say they have extra information behind them, right? They offer like a covers version size comparison with the regular comic size, so you know you're going to get a very nice, detailed, large version for that. And then again, it goes through and talks about the different layers you can go through. I want to say somewhere on this page they talk about the actual contents and the extra material. So yeah, so it says, while the main attraction is presenting all 126 covers in a supersized hardback format, we're also including extra material such as Kieran writing an introduction to the book and Jamie explaining his thinking behind each arc of the covers. So you might not get an explanation of every single cover, but you're going to get some background information, some behind the scenes stuff for the arcs that were happening in the comic. Making of features, he demonstrates how he goes from concept sketch to the finished product. So yeah, if you're a fan of this series or just a fan of gorgeous art, and if this strikes a chord with you, you want to get a nice coffee table book with these pictures and some explanation behind them. So standard book is £40. I like that they can include the conversion here, so $51 for the standard book. Again, I feel like that is not unreasonable for an art book, especially one with so many colored pictures, like 129 covers, something like that. Like oversized, 126 covers, oversized with full color spreads. That's a pretty good rate. If you want the signed book plate, that's going to be $64, and then the deluxe book is $95. So black cloth binding, holographic foil, custom head and tail bands, marker ribbon, gilded page edges. So this is if you want like one that's really going to stand out on your shelf and be gorgeous to look at without even opening up the book. And then again, just like the mix and match for the last couple of tiers there. All right, next up we have Kolchak the Night Stalker novel deluxe limited edition. So I mentioned this one, or I put this one on here because I remember not the original Kolchak the Night Stalker TV series or even the movie, because I think there's a film first, but I do remember it's like revival in early 2000s. There was a TV series. It only ran like one season, but this is the kind of pulp horror story that I'd be interested in. And I always wonder with these Kickstarters if this is going to be something that's going to be available after the fact, or if I have to get it now, right? You have that FOMO, fear of missing out. Um, so yeah, it's got some more illustrations unlocked. Here's what the cover is going to look like. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the cover. The interior art looks fine. Like, I feel like it's decent. And I'm not sure, honestly, what exactly the story is. I've not read this one before, but it strikes me as that kind of pulpy setup. So it goes into some detail here on the background of it. So talking about he finished the Kolchak papers. It would be the basis for a TV movie, and then a sequel, The Night Strangler, and the 20 episode series. That's the one, the original series I know some about. It does mention that it's inspired X-Files and Count Crowley. So if you are interested in those things, this is kind of in the same vein of those shows. And I remember that Kolchak was very like episodic. He'd go investigate some sort of paranormal thing every episode. There'd be some weird thing that happened. So it's the original TV show's 50th anniversary, and then fully restored and corrected from previous editions. Comes with an illustrated hardcover, red printed edges, a sewed in bookmark, and then it also comes with a Kolchak fan club membership card. There's a press badge on the flip side. Okay, sure. So again, if you want the ebook, that's $12. The limited edition hardcover is $39. Again, for a Kickstarter, $39 for a hardcover is not unreasonable, I don't feel. And then you can get a one-shot comic here for a couple extra bucks. And then your print set, t-shirt, et cetera, mix and match, keep it going, right? But again, just for the actual book itself, $39. This might be one that I pick up because, again, I am a fan of at least one of the works derived from this story, and it seems like that kind of pulpy horror mystery investigation story that I enjoy reading, so that one I might end up picking up. Speaking of pulp books and pulp work, we have the Gunn Files. So this is an action-packed sci-fi mystery series. This one is giving me vibes of like maybe Mushroom Blues, or what was the other one I read recently? Kaiju, not Kaiju Preservation Society, Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, where we have a hard-boiled detective, I want to say. Oh, he's a bounty hunter. Okay, so a hard-boiled bounty hunter who takes this gig, and then he finds out that he's actually like after an alien, and an alien convict, and so there's all this chaos and craziness, and it just strikes me honestly as like, again, some pulpy, ridiculous sci-fi story. So you can buy these in ebook, paperback, or hardbook formats at retailers, but they were published back in 2020, and then 3 years later, for 3 years they were on the market. They sold steadily, and he decided to reclaim his rights, and he's re-releasing them. All of these ratings are from just Kindle readers, which makes me a little bit weary. Like, it doesn't seem like, it seems like, again, a self-published book, but it is what it is. Like, it's very upfront with the style. It does have an excerpt that you can read somewhere in here. I could swear that there was a bit that you could look at. I could swear there was an excerpt somewhere that you could look at and get a little bit of a sense of what the story was about. So, here we go. So here, read a sample from it. So that's something I'll probably open up and take a look at and see if the prose is okay. But the story grabs me, the concept grabs me. Again, scrolling up here, we've got Build your own for $1. So that's just like give them $1 and you can do all the stuff you want with the add-ons. The ebook for $7, the trilogy of ebooks for $15, not bad. And then if you want to get the paperback for the first book, $25, hardback $35, and then paperback trilogy $65, and hardback trilogy $95. I'd really have to see what that sample sounds like and see if the story is catching me, is grabbing my attention. But yeah, I saw this one and I thought this might be something that I would take a look at. So, all right, last one. We want to end on like a coming soon. What's going to happen? The Stormlight Archives RPG is being produced by Brotherwise Games. So this is another one that I've got. I want to see the campaign launch. I want to say it's early July that this launches. And I want to see a sample of the gameplay mechanics. From what I hear from my RPG subreddit and my tabletop connections, it sounds like another D20 based system. But even so, I think that Stormlight Archives is a rich enough setting that you could have some really interesting concepts within that and gameplay mechanisms. So I'm waiting for this one to launch and to take a look at. Brotherwise Games has made some games that I've felt are just okay. I don't know of anything they've put out that has really like astounded me, but if you've played Boss Monster, that's them. And then they had, I'm trying to think of the other game that they had, which had a, not a storm, it wasn't a Stormlight Archive tie-in. It was a Name of the Wind tie-in. Call to Adventure. I think it might be Call to Adventure is the title of that one. I liked that one okay, but again, I just wonder. I need to see it. I need to see it before I make a decision. But I've already been notified. I've not on this account, but I have a notification on here for mine for when this shows up because I am interested in seeing what that looks like. Going to be getting into the Stormlight Archive Volume 3 soon, so a good time. Like and the special edition Kickstarter or special edition for the second book is progressing, so I'm waiting for that as well. So I'm really in a big Stormlight kick right now, and I'd really like to see if the role-playing game is any good. So, all right. That's what I've found over the past couple of weeks, just kicking around on the comic and publishing Kickstarter pages. So thanks for stopping by and letting me rant about things that I find interesting on Kickstarter for a few minutes. As always, please like, comment, subscribe so we can grow this corner of our BookTube community. Let me know if you know of any other crowdfunding campaigns that are going on for books that you find interesting so I can tackle them in a future Kickstarter roundup. And as always, until the next one, take care.